Y News with Angelo Castro III, William Theo, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. Malacanang revealed that there are other reasons behind President Rodrigo Duterte's decision to fire Dangerous Drugs Board former chair Dionisio Santiago. Rosa Licos will tell us why.
Malacanang disclosed a letter from the Dangerous Drugs Board Employees Union stating their complaints against former DDB Chair Dionisio Santiago. Based on the letter, Santiago traveled to Vienna, Austria to attend an ordinary meeting with his family. He tagged along with him during the trip his favorite DDB employees, which included a certain Edith Julie Mendoza, Santiago's girl Friday and coffee server. Aside from this, Santiago also went to the United States for an official business with his alleged mistress and other favored DDB personnel using the agency's funds. DDB Union also accused Santiago of appointing the sacked Benjamin Reyes whenever he was out of the country without formal appointment. Santiago also allegedly received a mansion from the Paruhinog family, an alleged drug operator in Osame City, when he was still the head of the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA. Presidential spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque said these are some of the reasons why President Duterte fired Santiago. This is apart from President Duterte's dismay when Santiago dubbed the government's mega drug rehabilitation center as a mistake. President Duterte recently repeated his warning that he would fire officials who would use government funds for personal gains.
That shows his resolve against graft and corruption. As far as he's concerned, you don't even have to be proven. If you're tainted in any way by corruption, he will not hesitate to fire individuals. And General Santiago is only the latest of them.
Malacanang is letting the Office of the Ombudsman to decide whether or not to file a criminal complaint against Santiago. UNTV is trying to get a statement of Santiago regarding this issue through text message and calls, but he has not yet responded. Rosa Licos, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre orders the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, to probe the detachment of the MRT train coaches last week. Here's why from Victor Cosare.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre sees basis in the allegation of sabotage in the recent mishap in the operation of MRT, which involved decoupling of coaches. Aguirre explains it would be impossible for the trains to detach on its own without human intervention. He argues the trains could not detach easily even though glitches occur.
Yung specific order, ituloy yung angle ng sabotage. Merong basehan. Kaya kung talagang walang human intervention, it's really very hard na mangyari yon. But of course, pwedeng mangyari. But definitely, parang ang NBI manakikita na yung angle ng sabotage ay merong basehan.
Just last Sunday, the MRT3 formally wrote a letter to the NBI asking for the agency to investigate the incident. In the letter, MRT management says it is not discounting the possibility of systems failure in the said mishap. However, it says it is also looking into the angle of human error or negligence. Meanwhile, Malacanang assures the public that the government is doing all it can to address the problems in the operations of MRT. Presidential spokesman Secretary Harry Roque says the government will focus on the problem on transportation like what it did on the country's concerns on illegal drugs and corruption.
But we accept the challenge, we are moving forward, and we promise better MRT to our riding public. No?
The palace official, however, stands firm that the call of some critics for Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade to resign is unreasonable.
Tingin ko po hindi pa po dumarating yung panahon na kinakailangan na tanggalin si Secretary Tugade. He enjoys the full trust and confidence of the President.
Furthermore, the Director for Operations of MRT3 Management, Engineer Mike Kapati, says the Dalian trains could not still be used amid the glitches in the operations of the old MRT trains.
Yung Dalian train is another area of concern kasi hindi pa naman clear dyan. No? So, wala pang clearance yan para gamitin natin. And I think the last time is we are seeking a third-party audit to check whether ano ang maisasuggest sila as far as putting in Dalian on the revenue side.
Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Former Department of Transportation and Communications Secretary Joseph Emilio Abaya and officials of the former maintenance provider of MRT are now facing charges before the Office of the Ombudsman. Ray Pelayo will tell us why.
Bayan Secretary General Renato Reyes Jr. claims the maintenance contract entered into by then Department of Transportation and Communications with Buri, the former maintenance provider of MRT, is anomalous.
Merong isang disadvantageous contract na pinasok ang gobyerno na nakaapekto sa milyon-milyong mga commuters. Merong pinaburan, may kumita habang milyon ang nagdusa.
Thus, the bagong alyansa Makabayan or Bayan, Bayan Muna, Agham and Train Riders Network filed a complaint before the Office of the Ombudsman against former DOTC Secretary Joseph Emilio Abaya, former MRT General Manager Roman Buenafe, and other former officials of then DOTC. The groups filed graft and violation of government procurement law complaints against the former high-ranking officials. Also included in the complaint are the officials of the Busan Universal Rails Incorporated or BURI, the former maintenance provider of the Metro Rail Transit or MRT. The UNTV News team is still waiting for the comment of former DOTC Chief Abaya regarding the complaints. The former MRT General Manager, meanwhile, says he wants to read the entire complaint first before releasing a statement. The militant groups insist the filing of the complaint serves as a warning against the current officials of the Department of Transportation to not follow the example of the previous administration. The militants are calling on the government to be the one to supervise the maintenance of MRT. The groups, however, are not in favor to stop operations of MRT, noting millions of commuters will be affected by such a move.
We understand yung safety concerns, no? Kaya nga dapat challenge yan sa gobyerno na pabilisin yung pag-aayos. I-audit yung mga tren, yung mga kakulangan sa pyesa, no? At yung mga scheduling ng replacement ng mga pyesa.
Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, the Integrated Bar of the Philippines and other law groups called on lawyers nationwide to stand against violations of human rights related to the government's war on drugs. Here's why from Monhokson.
Over 60,000 lawyers will convene this week for the conduct of the Human Rights Summit on November 23 and 24. The Integrated Bar of the Philippines, during the summit, plans to call on all lawyers nationwide to stand against abuse of human rights in the country. The group also calls on all prosecutors to uphold the protection of human rights.
Sana ang prosecutors also maintain their independence, no? Their knowledge of the law and their objectivity in assessing the evidence before them.
The Commission on Human Rights is pleased of the plan. However, CHR stresses that it will be difficult for them to examine cases of extrajudicial killings in the country unless the PNP opens to them the case folders.
To a thinking person, there's no other conclusion but that the administration is hiding something from the public.
But some law groups believe it won't stop them even if the PNP refuses to open the said case folders.
Kung yung pamilya ng biktima ay magko-complain at may witness na nakakita o gusto mag-testify, pwede nang i-file ang kaso. Tapos ang ilang mga lawyers groups naman, meron namang mga katulong sa forensics at iba pang evidence gathering methodologies, pwedeng isampa ang kaso.
IBP likewise encourages all lawyers to provide free services to victims of alleged EJKs. IBP is currently providing free services to victims of human rights violations through documentation, case building, among others. Monhokson, UNTV, News and Rescue, Pasig City.
Some senators expressed support on President Rodrigo Duterte's plan to declare the New People's Army as a terrorist group. Here's why from Nel Maribojo.
With their continued depredations and killing innocent people, I'll be issuing a proclamation I will remove them from the category of a legal entity or at least a semi-movement which would merit our attention, placing them pareho sa Amerika, terrorists.
Some senators say they agree on this plan of President Rodrigo Duterte. According to Senate Majority Leader Senator Vicente de Soto III, the President has basis to declare the NPA as a terrorist group.
Hinihiningan na lang ng revolutionary tax at yung hindi pagsunod sa gobyerno at yung mga ataking ginagawa sa mga pulis, talagang pwede mo i-classify silang terrorist group.
Former Chief of the Philippine National Police and now Senator Panfilo Lacson shares the same sentiment as Soto.
I think it's about time kasi nasa atin nga yung NPA and yet other countries have already declared them as terrorists, di ba? And besides, ano ba yung ginagawa na ng NPA? For the longest time, as far as we can remember, they engage in terroristic acts.
But for his part, Senator Antonio Trillanes IV believes otherwise.
Sa akin kasi hindi ako naniniwala dyan hanggang sa hindi niya sinisibak sa pwesto yung mga komunista sa kanyang administrasyon. Sa bilang namin, meron pang 10 senior officials.
President Duterte's plan stem from the killings of NPA members of an infant and 2 civilians in an ambush in Bukidnon last November 9. Despite the rebel group's apology for the incident, the president refuses to give in. The New People's Army is already included in the terror list of the United States of America since 2002. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
In other news, the Philippine government maintains its policy that bans open-pit mining in the country. Here's why from Ray Pelayo.
President Rodrigo Duterte stands on former Environment Secretary Gina Lopez's policy of banning the operation of the open-pit mining in the country.
He says that the ban on new open-pit mining remains.
Prior to this, DNR Secretary Roy Simato mentioned of his plan to present to Mr. Duterte the recommendation of the Mining Industry Coordinating Council or MICC for the President to reverse the order of Lopez. The Chamber of Mines of the Philippines is hoping that an administrative order will be issued soon in favor of the recommendation of MICC reversing Lopez's order. UNTV News is trying to get the side of DNR with regard to the issue, but there is still no response as of this report. Meanwhile, some residents of Manicani Island in Giwan, Eastern Samar are now in their 11th day of protests in front of the DNR office in Quezon City. They call on the agency not to renew the Mineral Production Sharing Agreement of the Hinatuan Mining Corporation or HMC, which has expired last month. They argue that even after the operation of the company was suspended in 2002, the mining company was able to ship stockpile out of the island.
Biktima kami ng katiwalian dahil during loading sa Manicani 2004-2016, tinambakan kami ng mga pulis at military.
But the Nickel Asia Corporation, who owned HMC, argued that the transfer of stockpile was necessary even after Typhoon Yolanda. They claim that 85% of the residents in Manicani actually are in favor of resuming the mining operation in the area.
Kasi ang Yolanda malakas ang hangin ng bagyo eh. Yun ang nagtulak ng storm surge. Pero kung malakas ang ulan ng bagyo, baka bumaba yung yung stockpile at ma-affect yung mga barangay. And that's why we were given a permit to dispose of the stockpile.
In a press conference, Lopez presented a video of her visit to Manicani showing the effect of mining, specifically in rice fields. But Nickel Asia countered this, arguing that there was no rice field in the island. They added that the entire mining industry should not be implicated with a single case of irresponsible mining. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Quezon City.
And the government is confident that the problem of slow internet connections in the country will be solved soon. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Malacanang announces the end of telecommunications duopoly in the country after President Rodrigo Duterte offers China to operate the third telecom carrier in the Philippines.
During the bilateral talks between President Duterte and the Chinese Premier, President Duterte offered to the People's Republic of China the privilege to operate the third telecoms carrier in the country.
China has not given a particular name of the company for the offer. Aside from this, there will be additional 2 terabytes per second because of new internet facilities that will be built through the partnership of the government and a Facebook affiliate. Malacanang said this could have been implemented long time ago, as well as the breaking of the duopoly in telecom carriers, but was delayed during the leadership in the Department of Information and Communications Technology by Rodolfo Salalima. This is the conflict of interest mentioned by President Duterte when he fired Salalima.
This agreement with the subsidiary of Facebook should have been signed as early as December 2016. It was not signed by the former secretary of the DICT. It was further reported by the Special Investigating Committee that the former DICT secretary likewise may have prevented the earlier breakup of the duopoly by delaying the use of satellites as viable option.
If this initiative will push through, it's not only the cellular technology that will be improved, but also the internet speed and access. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
The House Committee on Justice believes a constitutional crisis might occur once the camp of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno brings to the Supreme Court the impeachment complaint filed against her. Grace Casin will tell us why.
Supreme Court or SC Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno will not attend the hearing on the impeachment complaint against her on the 23rd of November. According to her spokesperson, Attorney Josa de Inla, they will insist on her right to be represented by her legal counsels.
Right now, she is considering heeding the advice of Albay Representative Edson Lagman, that is to not accede to the invitation of the House Committee.
However, House Speaker Pantalon Alvarez stands firm that they will not allow the Chief Justice to be represented by her lawyers. Alvarez notes if she has nothing to hide, Sereno should face the hearing and defend herself against the allegations stated in the impeachment complaint.
Pwede siya magdala ng mga abogado niya, pero kinakailangan nandoon siya. Hindi po pwede yung abogado lang niya yung nandun. Hindi naman yung abogado niya yung nireklamo rito, kundi siya.
With this, the camp of Sereno is considering to bring the matter to the High Tribunal.
Yung denial of the right to cross-examine and the right to counsel of the Chief Justice is tantamount to a grave abuse of discretion. So that will be a possible ground.
On the other hand, House Committee on Justice Chairman Reynaldo Umali believes there might be a constitutional crisis should the Supreme Court interfere in the impeachment proceedings in Congress.
If they elevate the matter to the Supreme Court, then we're like putting the impeachment proceeding under judicial review. The Constitution is very clear on the matter that the sole power to conduct impeachment cases rests on Congress.
On the scheduled hearing on Wednesday, the Justice Committee will determine if there is probable cause in the complaint. The lawmaker claims the impeachment rap might further strengthen with the absence of the Chief Magistrate during the said hearing.
Hindi ka mag-attend, but it doesn't mean na hindi tutuloy yung committee hearing. So you cannot complain? Tutuloy. Didinggin namin yung kaso, yung reklamo, yung mga ebidensya, titignan namin, pakikinggan namin yung mga accusers niya, yung mga witnesses, pakikinggan namin, at magdidesisyon kami kung dadalhin namin yan sa impeachment court o hindi.
Grace Casid, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Almost 600 motorists face apprehension by the Metropolitan Manila Development Authority on EDSA today. Here's why from Joe Anano.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA begins today the stricter implementation of the yellow lane policy along the stretch of EDSA. However, on the first day of its enforcement, the MMDA already apprehended hundreds of violators. As of 12 in the afternoon earlier, the MMDA apprehended almost 70 private vehicle drivers and 37 bus drivers through physical apprehension. While the agency, through its no-contact apprehension policy, apprehended 364 private vehicle drivers and 114 bus drivers. However, the MMDA has no data yet on how much travel time the yellow lane policy reduced. Despite this, the agency is confident that the implementation of the said policy has been effective in easing the traffic congestion along EDSA.
Yung yellow lane po natin, kaya po pina-fine-tune pa po, hindi pa po perfect yan. Madami pa rin pasaway, may mga gusto pa rin lumusot. Definitely, bibilis yan. Kahit sabi ko nga sa iyo, bumilis ka lang ng 10 minutes, 15 minutes, malaking bagay na yan. No? Malaking bagay na yan. Mag-improve lang.
Private vehicle drivers caught violating the policy paid a fine of 500 pesos, while public utility drivers paid a fine of 200 pesos. Although some criticized the implementation of the yellow lane, some bus drivers are in favor of the policy.
Para sa akin, ewan ko lang ngayon po kasi sobrang traffic. Hindi ko pa masabi na kung ano talaga kasi buhol-buhol eh. Pero baka sa sunod, maayos na rin.
Oo, makakatulong po yan. Dahil po sa private, kasi private po pumapasok sa komisyon. Isang biglang kumaliwa, biglang kumanan. Hindi natin masabi. Minsan hindi ka nakatingin po sa manobela, bigla lang kakabog sa likod. Mas maganda po yung ganun. Dapat po talaga patutupad yan.
The MMDA vows to continuously implement the yellow lane to ease traffic congestion along EDSA and to instill discipline on drivers to load and unload their passengers only in designated areas. Meanwhile, the agency will begin the stricter implementation of the motorcycle lane on Wednesday, November 22. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Makati City.
The Department of Transportation is determined to begin the implementation next month of the speed limiter law. Joanano is back to tell us why.
The Department of Transportation or DOTR targets to release next week the implementing rules and regulations or IRR of the speed limiter law. According to DOTR Undersecretary for Road Transport Tomas Orbos, they have already completed the IRR of the said law which they plan to implement in December.
Ang hinahabol po natin yung Pasko na para talagang kasi talaga yung totoo yun eh. Pinakamadaming aksidente talaga nangyayari during this time of the year. Masaya lahat, nakainom, puyat, madami. So,
the speed limiter law mandates the installation of a speed limiter device in all vehicles, especially in public utility vehicles or PUVs. Each speed limiter device is worth 15,000 to 25,000 pesos. USEC or BOSS explains they will prioritize the installation of speed limiter devices on PUVs due to the bulk of passengers daily.
PUVs muna. And then the rest will have to adhere to yung speed limit sa lugar na yon. In fact, sa lahat na lalabas na bagong mga sasakyan, yung PUV modernization natin, kasama na po yung speed limiter doon.
The DOTR, Department of the Interior and Local Government and other law enforcement agencies are set to sign an agreement that is expected to strengthen the implementation of the said law. Joanano, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Next on Y News. 9 countries joined the ASEAN navies in the first ever multilateral naval exercise being held in Pattaya, Thailand.
The Bureau of Customs loans $200 million from the World Bank in a hope to increase revenue collection with computer system upgrade.
And health groups see rise in number of smokers next year if proposed tax increase on cigarettes fail.
Y News will be right back. In commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the inauguration of ASEAN, the Royal Thai Navy as host gathered naval forces from 10 ASEAN member states and 9 other nations in making history this year. Here's why from Kat Dumaraos.
The Philippine Navy's largest vessel, BRP Tarlac, together with the BRP Gregorio del Pilar, took part in the first ever multilateral naval exercise conducted by ASEAN held in Pattaya, Chonburi Province. To prove the harmony of international navies, The Royal Thai Navy, as host, has combined 3 significant events into a single one under the rubric of the International Fleet Review. Specifically, the International Fleet Review 2017, the first ASEAN Multilateral Naval Exercise, or the first AMNEX 2017, and the 11th ASEAN Navy Chiefs Meeting. On Sunday, crews from all 10 ASEAN member states and 9 non-ASEAN countries participated in the naval drills, joint operations demonstrations, and International Navy City Parade, which was witnessed by the public at Pattaya Beach, Thailand.
The Philippine Navy's participation in the AMNEX 2017 aimed to convey the command's commitment to develop maritime operational capability, to increase readiness and interoperability, and strengthen the relationship among regional and extra-regional navies.
Meanwhile, the Filipino community in Thailand, in cooperation with the Philippine Navy and Marines, staged a concert for a cause entitled Rebuilding Marawi last Saturday.
Sa pamamagitan ng pag-perform para sa ating mga kababayan ding na medyo hindi masyadong sinuwerte sa buhay sa Marawi. So napakalaking tulong po yun sa inyong Philippine Navy na ang Filipino community dito sa Thailand ay nag-organize na ganito.
Organizers provided free transportation from different points of Bangkok, Pattaya, and Rayong to the venue. Filipino delicacies were also served during the concert. The affair also gave the Filipinos in Thailand a chance to have an interaction with our Filipino soldiers who supported our troops in Marawi.
Wherever our Philippine Navy goes, binibigay po natin yung kasiyahan para sa ating mga kababayan. Dahil alam po namin na namimiss nyo na rin, hindi lamang po yung mga balita na nanggagaling sa ating bansa, kundi yung makipag-fellowship sa ating mga kababayan, lalong-lalo na po yung ating mga magigiting na sailors and marines.
The Philippine Navy contingent will remain in Thailand on the course of the naval exercises until Wednesday, November 22.
Sa mga kababayan nating Pilipino dito sa Thailand, dapat po nating ipagmalaki ang ating bansa kahit nasaan tayo. Katulad po ng ginagawa ng ating Philippine Navy. Wherever the Philippine Navy is, we carry with us our territory, our flag, and we should be proud.
Kat Dumaraos, UNTV News and Rescue, Pattaya, Thailand.
The Philippine Coast Guard is likely to send 3 multi-role response vessels it acquired from Japan to the West Philippine Sea. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
Alongside the Philippine Coast Guard's 116th anniversary today, 3 multi-role response vessels were commissioned, namely MRRV 4404 Capones, MRRV 4406 Suluan, and MRRV 4407 Sindagan. The Japanese government also formally handed over to the PCG 3 7-meter rigid hull inflatable boats in show of support to the Philippine Coast Guard's role in implementing law and security in the coastal regions of the country. 4 MRRV from Japan are still to be delivered to the Philippines by the Japan International Cooperation Agency or JICA to complete the 10 vessels promised by Japan. According to National Security Secretary Hermogenes Esperon, one of the priorities for the deployment of the Coast Guard is the patrol of the West Philippine Sea. They plan to send the donated vessels in the area likely in January or February after the training of the Philippine Coast Guard.
We will have more Coast Guard ships for deployment nationwide, especially in Cebu Passage or in the tri-boundaries of Malaysia and Indonesia where we had kidnappings before. Kaya lalakas yung ating trilateral maritime patrol doon para mawala yung mga kidnappers, illegal activities na ginagawa dyan pag walang mga patrolya tayo.
According to PCG spokesperson Captain Armand Balilo, they are also planning to meet Chinese Coast Guards in the West Philippine Sea to test the interoperability of the two countries.
Well, part ng possible deployment would be, of course, Southern Philippines to combat piracy still. Pero 6 na yan. Pero pinag-iisipan din ni Commodore Garcia to also pag-patrol sa West Philippine Sea. Maganda rin yun para masubukan namin because bumubuti na yung relasyon ng China at sa Coast Guard.
Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Bureau of Customs believes that computer system upgrade will help the agency increase its revenue collection. Leslie Longboan will tell us why.
World Bank will fund the $200 million computer system upgrade of the Bureau of Customs. BOC Commissioner Isidro La Peña says the Bureau's computer system needs improvement that will reach the global standard.
It will be a computer system that will be at par with the other countries, not only in ASEAN but also with the world customs organization. It will be a top-of-the-line system.
Commissioner La Peña believes this project will help eradicate corruption in BOC and increase revenue collection.
Yung trade facilitation will be there. Kasi pagpasok ng mga data sa isang office, pasok lahat on all other offices it can be used. So less human intervention. No, wala na yung mga gamit ng mga consignees for hire.
Meanwhile, La Peña also boasted of the Bureau's revenue collection in October, which reached 42 billion pesos. He says this has been the highest monthly collection in the history of BOC.
But under my time, we have met yung monthly target above the monthly target. So we will just correct yung ating mga procedures now. Walang benchmarking, dapat ma-reduce na yung mga mawala na yung tara na yan, walang benchmarking. Yung corruption, mawala, that is tara. Then we should be able to hit yung ating target next year.
Leslie Lombowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre is open to run in the 2019 senatorial elections, but says this will depend on the decision of President Rodrigo Duterte. Rodrigo Mendoza will tell us why.
Etong si Secretary Aguirre, ako lang ang tatanungin ninyo. Dapat ito kasama sa line-up ng senatorial candidates. Susuportahan ko po yung yung kandidatura ni Secretary Vit Aguirre.
This what seems to be an endorsement of House Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez of Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre as a possible administration candidate in the 2019 senatorial elections. Alvarez was the guest speaker during the 81st anniversary of the National Bureau of Investigation today. The House Speaker says he will convince President Rodrigo Duterte to include Aguirre in their senatorial lineup.
I will highly recommend the inclusion of Secretary Vit Aguirre sa ticket ng administrasyon, sa PDP.
Alvarez says Aguirre would be a big help to the President to fast-track the passage of bills in the Senate. He laments that of 110 bills they transmitted to the upper house, only 10 become laws. Aguirre is open to run for the Senate but says it will depend on President Duterte. As PDP Laban chairman, President Duterte will have the final say on who will be running for the Senate in 2019.
What will be? Kaya sira-sira. Kaya kung anong hinihingi ng panahon, pagkakataon, but definitely it will be, much will depend on what will be the opinion of the President. Kung anong utos ni Pangulo, yun ang sundin natin.
Last Friday, Alvarez announced that Presidential Spokesperson Harry Roque and Communications Assistant Secretary Mocha Uson were among the administration's senatorial bets.
I really believe na Mocha would be a very good candidate. Qualified naman. Oo, para sa akin. I think she has a genuine heart for the Filipino people.
Alvarez, however, clarifies the list is temporary and the party is yet to decide on it. Rodrigo Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Meanwhile, Senator Vicente Soto III will file a cyber libel complaint against Edward Angelo Dayao, or popularly known as Kokoy Dayao, the individual allegedly behind the blog page called Silent No More. The senator plans to file the complaint today against Dayao before the National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI. Soto says the complaint is in connection with the alleged malicious post of the blogger. He said blog described as Malacanang dogs the lawmakers who refused to sign the Senate resolution condemning extrajudicial killings in the country. The senator claims Dayaw is behind the said blog post and that he can prove it in his complaint.
Na-trace na ng NBI. Pati yung mga registration niya lahat. No, his name calling. That is my basis. Baliwala yung sinabi niya, di rin kami pumirma, nag-imbento siya ng istorya gano'n na mali.
Several studies reveal that the number of Filipino smokers may further rise once the government fails to enact the proposed tax rate increase for tobacco products. Here's why from Aiko Miguel.
Studies conducted by several health groups reveal the Philippines has the cheapest prices of cigarettes in the world. If to be compared with other countries, a pack of cigarette in the Philippines costs not more than $1 and can be bought easily.
In the Philippines, it's less than $1 or $1, 50 pesos. In other countries, Singapore, it's $9. In Australia, it's $15. But people are still smoking. But we protect the poor and the very young who are the ones who cannot afford the higher tobacco taxes.
With this, a number of health groups and doctors have expressed concern over the possible rise in the number of Filipino smokers in the country. They estimate 200,000 more Filipinos will add to the current number of smokers by 2018. And within 6 years, the health experts say it may further rise to 1 million if the government fails to approve the proposed imposition of more taxes on tobacco products. Senator Manny Pacquiao's Senate Bill 1599, or the act raising the excise tax on tobacco products, aims to increase the prices of each pack of cigarettes to 60 pesos, while Senator J.V. Ejercito seeks an increase of 90 pesos per cigarette pack. The group Action on Smoking Health, or ASH, is in favor of the said proposals. ASH says higher prices of cigarettes may help Filipinos to stop smoking, especially the youth.
Kailangan isang tax rate lang din, no? Isang tax rate ang ia-apply for all dahil mababa ang presyo ng sigarilyo, cheap yung cigarettes mo o mahal yung sigarilyo mo, ang epekto ay iisa lang. Magkakasakit ka pa rin, mamamatay ka pa rin dahil sa sigarilyo.
A group of doctors and the former secretaries of the Department of Health, or DOH, is also in favor of increasing the tax rates for tobacco products, especially since it will help improve the revenue collection of the government. The health experts say the government might allocate the additional amount it can collect from the tobacco excise tax to the Universal Healthcare Program for Filipinos.
In 2012, they stopped 3 million people from beginning smoking just by signing a bill. They prevented 30,000 deaths in that span, something the entire medical profession cannot do. And so the power of this bill is really very important, and we need to realize that and able to push for it hard. The higher the tax, the more lives we save.
The proposed law seeking to increase the tax rates on tobacco products filed by Senators Manny Pacquiao and J.V. Ejercito are still pending in the Senate. The health groups are hoping that the said proposals will advance in Congress at the soonest possible time. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
A Maranao couple sends their little wish to Kuya Daniel Razon. Jun Suriao tells us why.
It was in year 2000 when then Marawi City residents Bashir and Potresara Mangundatu went to Manila to try their luck. Far from their hometown, the Maranao couple run a small business in the province of Rizal to provide for the daily needs of their 7 children. Upon their arrival in Manila, the couple and their children set up a stall at a public market in Taytay, Rizal. For years, they sold clothes, sandals, and other products for their livelihood. However, in 2009, Potresara suffered a stroke, and in 2014, Bashir also suffered a stroke, and their livelihood has been affected since then. The couple then decided to return to Marawi City. But in an unexpected turn of events, war broke out in Marawi City, prompting the family to flee and stay for a while with their relatives in Iligan City. Upon their return in their home in the village of Saber, in the strife-torn area, the couple seeks to no longer be a burden to their children. At the age of 63, Bashir still wants to work, but his children prevents him from doing so because of his illness. They have no one to depend on but the aid from the Department of Social Welfare and Development or DSWD and from their child who is now living in Taytay Rizal. This is why Mr. Saber Mangundato sought help from Kuya Daniel Razon after seeing the crew of UNTV covering the post-war situation in Marawi City.
Makatao ka, mga Diyos, lahat-lahat. Parang hindi ko masabi yung lahat ng ginagawa mo sa mga tulong mo. Ako, Mr. Razon, hingi ako sa iyo ng tulong. Kaming dalang mag-asawa, lahat kami disabled ngayon.
Mr. Mangundato is confident that Kuya Daniel will grant his little wish, noting he had already proven the helpful public service of UNTV after experiencing a free ride offered by the company.
Isa po ako sa idolo mo, Mr. Razon. Nung nasa Manila kami, sa Taytay kami, nakasakay pa ako sa libreng sakay na bus. Nandun ka pa na kinukumusta kita. Hindi mo alam na ako isa kong Muslim. Pagpatuloy mo ang mga magandang gawain mo. Nakikita ko sa iyo ang makatawa talaga.
Meanwhile, serbisyong kasangbahay of Kuya Daniel Razon already has a wheelchair for Bashir to be sent to Marawi City anytime soon. Together with the Marawi News team, Jun Suriao for Serbisyong Kasangbahay.
Coming up on Y News, experts examine links in magnitude 6.9 earthquake in Ningxi County in China's Tibet Autonomous Region.
Miss Philippines Rachel Peters emerges as early crowd favorite as Miss Universe pre-pageant kicks off in Las Vegas.
And Dr. Daniel Razon hailed as most outstanding global newscaster of the year in the 2017 Gawad Amerika Awards.
More from Y News after this break.
Kuya Daniel Razon was hailed as the most outstanding global newscaster of the year during the 16th Gawad Amerika Awards held in the Celebrity Center in Los Angeles, California. Here's why from Leslie Longbowen.
And the global newscaster award goes to
Daniel Razon, UNTV.
Members of the Gawad Amerika Awards give recognition to Kuya Daniel Razon not just because of his great skills in broadcasting, but also for his contribution to the entire broadcast industry, not just in the Philippines, but also abroad. According to Charles Simbulan, the founding president of the prestigious award-giving body, Kuya Daniel's ability and knowledge as a global newscaster is one of a kind.
UNTV, they have their reputations. It's very solid, it's very fair. It's only right to be an awardee on this event. Daniel Razon is a very humble person, nice person, intelligent. He knows what he's doing, and it's only right for him to be recognized, not only here but globally. And that's our responsibility as Gawad Amerika, as your eye all over the world.
Gawad Amerika Vice President Alfredo Yumol meanwhile says it's high time to award Kuya Daniel for his good works. The Gawad Amerika is a civic organization composed of Filipino Americans. The award-giving body recognizes the Filipino groups and individuals with unique contribution to various fields. The Gawad Amerika Award is Kuya Daniel's third recognition for this year. In May, he was given a Lifetime Achievement Award in the 25th KBP Golden Dove Awards and named a World-Class Filipino Achiever in the World-Class Philippines Awards 2017. And like what Kuya Daniel always says every time he receives recognition,
sa huli, mananatili pong ang karangalan at kapurihan ay sa Diyos na ating kinikilalang lumalang sa ating lahat.
Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue.
Those are the reasons behind the news, November 20, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching
Why News.